What is the American dream? And can all Americans achieve it? It was sold to us that anyone with a big dream and a heart of gold can find their own throne and bask in their glory. It was said that any warm blooded American has all the opportunities at their fingertips. With hard work and, of course, some merit, anyone can achieve their dreams. But is hard work and merit good enough for today's American dream? Over the course of time, we've seen hard-working Americans get denied their dreams, stripped from a fair shake they worked so hard for. Everyday warm-blooded Americans that pulled themselves up from the bootstraps, started from humble beginnings to make something out of nothing, are denied their victories, kicked out, and told to stay in their place. They are shut out from the same places and communities they work so hard to build. The same places and communities that raised them, stopping them from their blessings that are supposed to be given to any hardworking Americans. Even becoming one of the greatest artists of all time can still fall short from their dreams. It's seldomly due to the lack of hard work or what you provide for others, or even poor quality. It's simply because you don't belong. But fortunately, taking no for an answer isn't what Americans do. Remember, we came here to play the game of fortune. And the only way winners win in this country is if they take it. So, what happens when you're told you ain't country enough for the same country your ancestors helped build? What happens when you're shunned from opportunities you worked damn hard for? Will you do what any other American has done in the past? My name is Cayman, and this is My Beyonce Experience. Let's recap. Category is Renaissance. The diva hosted a charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent private ballroom event that was tens across the board. Bey created a fierce beehive for her bumblebees to spread their wings and to spread their honey. Renaissance was an album that gave everyone a reason to let their freak flags fly. But we came to find out that was just Act 1. Renaissance wasn't just an album. It was part 1 to a 3-part trilogy, a history lesson on the impact Black art and we will soon see Black Americans had on this country. But before the world fell to their knees with the fever of COVID-19, Beyonce was shining off her spurs and trying to get all that ass in her Daisy Dukes. In 2016, Beyonce dropped a Peabody Award-winning album that gave breath to the pain that Black women go through. Within the tracks was a little gem called Daddy's Lessons. This country New Orleans infusion was the embryo that will grow into an album that will once again usher in new beginnings. But this embryo wasn't conceived with love. On a cold and distasteful night, Beyonce was performing at the CMA Awards and was greeted with a not-so-welcoming Southern welcome. Instead, the music mogul was greeted by obnoxious disdain. In the crowd, you can see people's bent faces, talking and pointing while Beyonce was performing and questioning, why is she even here? It was reported that someone in the crowd told her to get her crusty, dusty, no good having black ass off that damn stage. They made it clear. This is Country Music Awards, and honey, you ain't country. Beyonce exits stage left, leaving behind a trail of tears. Was she ignorant to believe that she belonged on that stage? Did her little 1-2 step warrant her an invitation to their club? I mean, what does warrant you an invitation to their club? You said that I was too country, and now you're saying I ain't country enough. Beyonce, a Texas native, 3rd Ward to be specific, performed a song that represents what country means to her. A song telling women to watch out for the boogeyman and make them second guess before they cross you, or else you'll dig your key into the side of his pretty little souped up 4-wheel drive. But what she got instead was,
"Oh, brother, this guy stinks!"
This Houston native grew up with a daddy that liked his whiskey with his tea. He didn't raise a woman to stand there and take it. He raised her to shoot. Getting bucked off a horse happens to all of us. Beyonce got up, dusted herself off, popped her shoulder back in, and did what all Americans will do when someone says no. Unfortunately, what this land was built on. This is a land of opportunities, but opportunities don't come to those who take what's handed to them. If you want better, if you want respect, you demand it, you take it. And this Creole Banji bitch did just that. If Nashville's gonna tell me to take my black ass home, then let me remind you who gave you this art form in the first place. After a 15-minute intermission between Renaissance, the play resumes, and this time behind the curtains, we are set on a ranch. The crisp breeze shuffles through our shirt, corn pastures as far as the eyes can see, and cow manure not so far off the distance. It was a warm Friday evening when Beyonce stepped on the porch to ring the triangle to call in her hard-working cowboys and cowgirls. It's time to wash up and get ready for supper. In between the warm biscuits and the Sir Davis, Beyonce placed on the table an experience that will feed any starving soul. This is Act 2, Cowboy Carter. This country hoedown is comprised of 27 tracks, piecing together a body of work that takes the listener on the evolution of country music. It opens up with songs about ambition, unity, and heritage, the constant fight for survival, and even sometimes leaving behind your adolescence. But in the end, taking pride in your humble beginnings. These were paired with simple melodies and production that sounds like you're on your grandma's front porch. The genre-bending album grabs inspiration from country's biggest contributor, gospel. These hymn-like lyrics reflect the working-class American, lyrics that paint a picture of hard work, gratitude, and redemption. The album jukebox moves on to the classic honky-tonk line dance that we love from country. All while country legends narrate you between each hill, toe, and twist. Cowboy Carter slides into some rock and roll, a wink and nod to some of the greats. This time the jukebox plays a new style of country, a new era of country that has yet been discovered. What country can be if we let others share their stories. In order to bring something new to country, Beyonce brings in new sounds, new genres, and new faces. Someone once said, if you're building something that only benefits you, it's not big enough. Beyonce used this opportunity to show her hive the black country art that is thriving and ready for support. She wrangled in artists like Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tiara Kennedy, and Raina Roberts, and a Nigerian country singer, Shabuzi. By inviting these country cowgirls and boys into Bay Space has helped each and every one of their careers. An unprecedented thing occurred. All 5 artists, black country artists, were able to get on Spotify's US daily top charts. But it wasn't just the future Bey was looking to set up. She wanted to give flowers to those in the past.
Genres are a funny little concept, aren't they?
Voiced by a forgotten pioneer in country music, Linda Martell. Linda was the first Black woman to sing at the Grand Ole Opry and was a rising star in the late 60s. But gatekeeping and a dash of racism made it impromptu end to her promising career. However, thanks to Beyonce, Linda is getting another spotlight. After appearing on Cowboy Carter, Linda's family is saving money to make a documentary, and her music is recirculating on Spotify charts. If you attended Beyonce's homecoming, then you're familiar with the following quote.
And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in the same interview, I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
The professor in Black history started off the course with one of the first art forms that came from the pain and suffering of Black people. It is a call to Black Americans to never forget that our instruments, our gospel, and our poor hillbilly aesthetic is being whitewashed, all while being slowly kept out. Our blood enriches the soil and our souls still hang like strange fruit. So how are you going to keep us out of country? How are you going to tell us we don't belong? There will be no blues, no gospel, no banjos, or bluegrass, all important ingredients to this country. Cowboy Carter came in swinging like a doors on a brothel. Cowboy Carter got the respect it demanded by taking home some sashes and a few little Grammys for good measures. Cowboy Carter is Beyonce's 8th #1 album on the Billboard 200s. The album's lead single, Texas Hold'em, debuted at #1 on Billboard's country charts, making Beyonce the first Black woman to top that chart. Cowboy Carter also became the most streamed album in a single day in 2024, according to Spotify, and earned the title of most first-day streams of a country album by a female artist on Amazon. Now let's talk about the Grammys. First award goes to Second Most Wanted, one of my favorites, for Best Group Duet. But Beyonce was given two important sashes of her career. The first sash was for the first Black woman to win Country Album. Beyonce took home Best Country Album for Cowboy Carter, making her the first Black woman to do so. The second sash was for the first Black woman to win Album of the Year in a century. Yep, that's right. Beyonce, in her 25-year career, has finally won Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. What would you do if you were told you don't belong? You're kicked out of their space and you're told you don't fit their standard. If it wasn't for your ancestors, there wouldn't even be a space to kick you out of or even a goddamn standard. You remind them of who you are, that you are just a part of this space as they are. Cowboy Carter was an album that reminded the CMAs in Nashville that Beyonce is country, born and raised in the heat of Houston, Texas. To remind America to never forget who helped build this great nation we all call home. Cowboy Carter reminds the Black community to never forget your contribution to this country. You floated on the same boats they came in on. You have the right to take up as much space as anyone else. To continue to remember you are part of something much bigger. Our people died for this country. Our stories, our hard work, our creativities, and our aspirations are the backbone to their favorite lullabies. From the banjo to the gospel, we are always here. The album was a reminder to anyone to never take no for an answer. Let them laugh. Let them question. But don't let that no hold you back. You are an American, and we do not take no for an answer. We get back on that horse, we look it dead in the eye, and we say, I'm going to ride you. I'm going to ride you like the bitch you are. Hello, welcome back. My name is Cayman, and if you're new here, welcome to my YouTube series called My Beyonce Experience. Basically, it's a homosexual talking about Beyonce. That's pretty much all it is.
Okay.
So basically what My Beyonce Experience is, I have been listening to Beyonce since I was like 5. Every hour has been a timestamp in my life. So each video you can see me recapping the album, what was going on during Beyonce's life, what was going on during the climb of music, what was I doing, sharing stories, sharing my thoughts, sharing questions, sharing my opinions that no one asked for. That's My Beyonce Experience. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, thank you for coming back. All right, let's get into the facts. Like at the time of recording this, Cowboy Carter, the tour, has still not even begun. So, but as you can clearly tell, I'm dressed in Cowboy Carter theme. This is what I'm piecing together for the tour. I got my tickets, and can I just say, I did not pay an arm and a leg. I don't know if my friend got into the queue early, but the Cowboy Carter tickets are relatively the same as the Renaissance tickets, and I'm sitting actually a lot closer to Beyonce than I was for Renaissance. But this is my outfit that I'm piecing together. I hope you like it. I like it. I kind of vibe. I have this parsley red handkerchief. I bought this, and I can link it down below, but this, oh my God, it's denim, it's lightweight. This is very cute. I got this on Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll link it if anyone wants a piece. As you could tell, I'm not going Western or I'm not going country. I'm going very Americana. I want to play on the colors of red, white, and blue. And right now I have a wife beater, but I'm thinking of getting a white t-shirt. Now I have 2 ideas. I kind of want to blend them into one. One of the ideas has like a red ringer around the collar and around the cuff of the shirt, but I don't care for the graphic. And the one that I care for the graphic of the 2 cowboys holding hands, I want to wear. I might wear that one, but if I can find, I just wish the little outlines, because also I'm one of those people that put an outfit together and be like, especially for layering, I like to see like what will the outfit look like if I took off the jacket and I just had, you know, some jeans and a t-shirt. Speaking of the jeans, I got some acid wash Levi jeans. Fuck me. They're boot cut. I've always wanted to wear a boot cut jeans, but I have been very thick in the thighs and thick in the waist, thick in the motherfucking place. Girl, I'm so glad. I should have got boot cut jeans like a long time ago. I don't know what it is, but they just flatter me. And I love kind of like the baggy look. I love kind of like that boot cut look. So I'm very excited to pair these with some acid wash Levi jeans. I love Levi jeans. I used to love Levi jeans because it was a brand that I couldn't afford. And my mom did not find the value of Levi jeans because she knew that I would always grow out of it. Every year I would always grow out of my clothes. But once I started making my own money, I immediately bought my pair of Levi jeans. And this is when they started adding stretch to them. So I got right into that stretch era. Changed my fucking life. I am on a weight loss journey. And I'm fitting into my old Levi jeans that I've had since COVID. I bought in those jeans probably in 2018, 2019. This is not a Levi. I've been sucking Levi's dick before Beyonce even knew Levi's had a wiener. And you know I love Levi jeans because I only have 25 people watching these YouTube videos. And what would I gain from giving free publicity to a brand that doesn't even know I exist? But if I have my outfit together before I put this video up, I'll link it, or I'll post some pictures. If you don't see any pictures, that means I don't have my outfit before I put this video up. Okay, so if you're new here, this is where I talk about my thoughts of the album, what my opinions, what did I think about the album, some songs that I like, some songs I didn't like, what was going on during the era of Cowboy Carter and this era of the Beyonce album that we have right now. So let's get into some of my first initial thoughts. To be 100% honest, when I saw Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, right, and it was house, country, and rock, country was the one that I knew that I was going to have a very, very, very hard time with. I do not like country. I try so hard. I really, 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 really do try hard. Even after this Cowboy Carter album, I try to listen to Shabuzi. I try to listen to all the other girls that she had on the album. I even tried to listen to some other country recommendations that Spotify was kind of recommending me, because one of the things I think about with this whole Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 is, as a consumer, it's pushing me, and I'm hoping it's pushing the rest of you guys to broaden your perspective and broaden your playlist to something that's not something that's not hip hop, and something that's not R&B. I'm right now currently doing my homework on rock, but I was trying to do my homework on cowboy country music, and I just didn't like it. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again, I do not like singles. I don't know what it is about a single, but I hate singles. So when she dropped Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages, Texas Hold'em just sounded way too white country for me. Like, I guess what I was expecting was the bottom half of the album. I was expecting to hear something like maybe like spaghetti, or maybe like, I don't know. Point is, when she dropped Texas Hold'em, I was just like, I don't know what this is. But let me tell you, when I listened to American Requiem, it I don't want to say it changed my life, but it changed my perspective. Requiem is one of the best openers Beyonce has ever done. Hands down, no question about it. What it did for me, and I believe it might have done this for a lot of people, when I heard American Requiem, it made me excited to continue to listen to the album. American Requiem was exactly what I needed to hear from Beyonce to continue to listen to the album. Because if I just based it off of Texas Hold'em, I was going into the album very reluctant. I was like, I don't fucking want to listen to this. She's gonna get laughed at. Like, I don't even, like, no. But American Requiem was such a beautiful song. It's a great way to open up a fucking album, in my humble opinion. You know, when you go to those fancy restaurants, it's not in my tax bracket, but I watch a lot of Netflix documentaries, and a lot of these 5-star restaurants, they do these, plated dinners where there's no menu. You just eat whatever the chef is cooking. Usually at the very beginning, there's this like palate cleanser. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it kind of level sets everything, kind of cleans your palate so you can be prepared for the course that's coming in. American Requiem is exactly like that. When you listen to American Requiem, it sets the stage. It's a song that sets the scene. It sets the tone. It sets what we're about to embark on, the journey. When I listen to American Requiem, it sounds like the beginning stages of this country, and it sounds like the beginning stages of just country music itself. It just reminds me of mountain peaks and deserts and cactuses and wild horses and maybe a Native American someone off into the distance. It just feels like the beginning, the embryo stages of what and where country music comes from. The lyrics, the church, the hymns, the fight, the hustle, the struggle, the pride, everything that country music is, everything that country music represents is in that song. It's very religious. It puts you in your place. It tells you why I'm here. It tells you where I got this inspiration from. It tells you everything you need to know to get ready for what you are about to embark on. As you can tell, American Requiem is probably top 3 songs of this album for me. And American Requiem is hands down, in my opinion, one of Beyonce's best openers to any of her albums. One thing I would love to say about Smoke Hour 2, it has the harmonica, and I was doing some research on country music. Harmonicas are it's a very pinnacle, I don't even know what word I'm trying to look, but it's a very important instrument in country music, because harmonicas used to be used to symbol or sound like the train going by. Early country music was listened to by white poor people that were working on the railroad tracks. Yes, we know black people came up with bluegrass and the banjo and the gospels and blah, 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 blah. White poor people were listening to country music because it resembled them. It resembled rail workers. So in the very, very early beginning, the harmonica and the production sounding like the train going by was very prevalent in early country. And you know who's great at the harmonica? Stevie Wonder. I think it would have been a perfect opportunity for Beyonce to partner with Stevie Wonder and just do a little harmonica riff on one of the songs to kind of tie in to the railroad workers that really were into country in the very beginning. So that's just my 2 cents, Beyonce. If you ever asked for it, if you ever wanted to know what this homosexual in Minneapolis, Minnesota would have done to your album of the year winning album, that's what I would have done. Another thing I want to ask too is I'm curious to know if Yeehaw was a song that was made after Tina Turner's death. Now, if you remember, Tina Turner died during the Renaissance era, and Tina Turner is Beyonce's idol. Yeehaw is a song that I can see Beyonce wearing a Bob Mackie dress and shaking it. I don't know, comment down below. I'm sure a lot of people know. I'm sure a lot of people, we've made these comments before online. Yeehaw sounds like in a song that is inspired by Tina Turner. Elvis as well, but that rock and roll, that, what's his name? Little Richie. I think Little Richard and Little Richie are the same person, I think. Imagine if Beyonce has a collaboration with Tina Turner, she puts it on the rock album. You know how Lady Gaga is saying that there's going to be a Telephone Part 2? My prediction is going to be on the rock album. When I talk to my friends, especially my friends who love country music, especially the ones that were born and raised on farms, that were born and raised on pure old, good old, 2% milk country, they will always tell you that the best time of country music was in the 90s. I don't know what they put in those fucking albums, but if you ask someone who truly devours country music, that is their number one genre, they don't listen to anything else but country, 9 times out of 10 they will tell you that the 90s era of country is undeniable. A lot of times they will also say that something in today's country is not the same. And when you ask them why isn't it the same, they will probably tell you it's because country today talks about only 3 things: beer, trucks, and girls. That is it. And it's very pop. There's no country to it. It's just pop music that has a country twang. My prediction is that Cowboy Carter will introduce a new style of country if she hasn't done it already. Maybe because I'm into house music. Right now, after Renaissance, you see a slew of black DJs on TikTok. There's Black House Radio, Zach Fox. There's so many up and coming black DJs that are making a name for themselves. And maybe it's just the timing of Renaissance, or maybe it's just right now house music is in, but there is something to say about Beyonce's album being released, and now all of a sudden you see this rush of black DJs DJing all over social media. I think Cowboy Carter would do the same thing. I think Cowboy Carter is dropping now in the next 2 or 3 years, which we're still seeing. I think this whole pop country music, the beers, trucks, and girls, I think in the next couple of years, we might move out of that. Now, we may have already moved out of that. We may have moved out of the beer, trucks, and girls era. I think Cowboy Carter will usher in not only new artists, but these new, the Nashville, whatever Nashville is, they're going to look at Cowboy Carter and be like, okay, maybe I'll add some Alligator Tears. Maybe I'll add some Desert Eagle. I do like Two Hands to Heaven. How can I do that? I think that Cowboy Carter will turn a page in country. Not only will it usher in new black country artists, but I think it will push Nashville to ask themselves, what is country anyway? That's just my prediction. Let's talk about some awards. There are some awards that Beyonce won for her Cowboy Carter album, one of the awards being Album of the Year and one of them being Best Country Album of the Year. I have a question for whoever's watching this. If you're a true country listener, which award means most to you? Which award holds the most weight? Is it the Grammys or is it the CMA? Here's why I'm asking. How is it possible that you can win not only Best Album of the Year and Best Country Album at one award ceremony, but when there's an award ceremony dedicated to country, you're not even nominated? And the only excuse they use is you tweeting saying it's not a country album, it's a Beyonce album. I need to know the politics behind that. And maybe that's why Beyonce was so shocked when she won Best Country Album. So for a consumer, which one's the most important? If I'm a country artist and I'm not winning country awards, but I'm winning Grammys, does that solidify me as a country artist? Or if I'm a country artist and I'm winning country awards, but I'm not a Grammy award winning artist, am I as big or as profitable or marketable? Am I as great as I think I am because I'm winning in the cowboy arena, but I'm not winning in the overall arena? Which I feel like I don't know. I just thought that was fascinating. That one person can win Cowboy Album of the Year, Country Album of the Year. One person can, for the same album, win Album of the Year, but for an award show ceremony that's dedicated to country, you're not even nominated. That's crazy to me. And what also talks about how impactful this album is she did it without any visuals. Beyonce is not doing the old Chitlin circuit as one will do when they're trying to politic their way into a Grammy. Let's take Brat for a summer. Now, I'm not saying that Charlie XCX was politicking her way to a Grammy, but Brat was in our face. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. Kamala Harris talked about it in her campaign to resonate with the youth. She also, Charlie XCX, had I don't know if it was a world tour. I think it was a world tour, but she had a really successful tour. That to me is what you do if you're trying to Chitlin circuit your way into a Grammy. But what we've seen with Renaissance and what we've seen with Cowboy Carter is Beyonce's doing the bare minimum. I will argue that Beyonce did the bare minimum for Cowboy Carter. I barely saw Beyonce promote Cowboy Carter. What I saw Beyonce do more than promote Cowboy Carter is push Sir Davis, push her perfumes, push her hair care, and push that damn candle. But I did not see her push the album until the fall. Then in the fall, we got the Christmas special and we got a Levi Jean. Right around the time that the Grammys start to vote and start to put up who they think should be the winners or at least nominated for a Grammy. Not only do you not get nominated for the Country Music Awards, an award ceremony that's designated to awarding great country artists, you win a Grammy for it, you win Album of the Year for it, and you barely even promoted it. That's a good fucking album if you ask me. Overall, what are my ending thoughts of Cowboy Carter? One of Beyonce's best albums to date. It is, I've said this thousands of times before, Cowboy Carter is my top 2. It's better in my opinion than Renaissance. It has more weight than Renaissance, which I don't hold that against Renaissance. We know Beyonce said that she didn't want anything very hard and very impactful. She just wanted something light. She just wanted something to dance to. But even with Renaissance, it's hard for me to replay that album because you kind of really have to listen to it in order. And that's one thing I love about Cowboy Carter is you don't have to listen to it in order. The songs are not tied together as much as Renaissance is. Maybe at the very ending with Desert Eagle through Amen, but other than that, it's not that tied together like Renaissance. And that's that brings me back to my other questions, like how much of this album was made, Cowboy Carter, was made after Renaissance? Because in the very end, most of the songs connect kind of like Renaissance does. I'm also really excited to see this Cowboy Carter tour. This would be my first country tour. And I have a feeling based off of the Renaissance and how she did her mixes and how she, reimagined some songs, it's gonna get Black Girl. I'm excited to see if she leans on the house element a little bit more and adds a little bit house to country. I'm just interested to see, because they're going to connect. I'm just interested to see if Cowboy Carter is going to be a standalone tour or is she going to do some mixes that kind of resemble Renaissance? I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just interested to see how Cowboy Carter, the tour, is going to be. I'm interested to see if it's just going to be real, just straight up yeehaw. I'm interested if it's going to be a blend of some house. Now, I'm not saying she's going to do house songs, but take a country beat and give it a house rhythm. I'm interested to see if it's going to connect to Renaissance. I guess I'm just interested to see what the fucking tour is going to give me. So this is where I want to ask Beyonce a couple questions. Usually I kind of like ask, I like to pretend that I'm interviewing Beyonce. What would I ask Beyonce if I had the moment? Now, I think one question I would love to ask Beyonce if I truly had a moment with her is I want to know at this point of your career, how do you feel about it? Like, when you sit back, obviously you're not done, you have Act 3, and hopefully after Act 3 you take a long break and maybe retire, because honestly as a Beehive, I think you fed us enough. But you are 25 years in the game. You're the most Grammy Award winning artist of all time. You finally have won Album of the Year. You still have one more album left. How do you feel about your success so far? How do you feel about what you have accomplished so far? How do you feel about the roads that you have paved for others so far? You were swimming with turtles, and you had a moment with yourself where you thought about the impact of your art. And so far, since Black is King, since Lemonade, since 4, since Renaissance, and now Cowboy Carter, you have done everything that you promised those little fucking turtles that you would do. You promised that you would make art that meant something, that had an impact, that was lasting. You promised that you wouldn't care about the radios, you wouldn't care about the numbers, you wouldn't care about the critiques, and each and every time you deliver and you continue to reinvent yourself, you continue to push the bar, not only for you, but for others. How do you feel about that? People will say that you're the reason why girl groups can't succeed anymore because everyone is starting to look for the Beyonce in the girl group. You now show that after being in the girl group, you can be a successful businesswoman and a solo artist. You now show that after being a solo artist that you can bet on yourself, that you can make art that goes against what's popular. You can just make art. You're now showing that you don't even have to promote it. You don't even have to have visuals. How do you feel about all of that? To me, as a person who's watching you from the outside, it's amazing. It's cool. It's art. It's truly a person that's evolving before your eyes, and it's incredible to see as a viewer. It's amazing to see. I think as humans, we forget that we have to evolve too. To me, watching Beyonce is a human evolving, an artist evolving, and it's incredible to watch. I want to know, how do you feel about your success? How do you feel about your career? So yeah, those are questions that I have for the Queen Bee herself. All right, guys, that is it. That is Cowboy Carter. Let me think, am I missing anything? I don't know. I always feel like I miss a lot of things. I always remember that I forget things when I'm halfway through editing. But yeah, that's it. That's my Beyonce YouTube series. Thank you for watching this far. If you've been watching all of them, thank you. I can't believe I did this series, even despite all the fuck up edits and the audio and me missing information and editing and software crashes. I'm just very happy that I continue to upload a video once a month, get it out there, and yeah. It's just interesting because I don't know if I just said this, but maybe I did, but like watching Beyonce evolve, like I said, it's very inspiring, and I'm trying to evolve myself, and it's very tough. It's easier watching people do it than it is doing it. When I said in Black is King, if you're following me or following this YouTube series, you will see a dramatic shift in the type of content that I'm going to make. And I don't know, it's scary, it's interesting, but this YouTube series really showed me that I guess I can do anything that I want. I know that sounds very gay. It just sounds a little gay, you know what I mean? It just, believing in yourself just sounds a little homosexual if you ask Moa. So yeah, I don't know. This YouTube series just kind of helped me I want to say put a fire up my ass. Oof, God, that'd be great. But, you know, a lot of things are easier said than done. And I'm learning that half of me is very excited for things and wants to do things, but the other half of me is just very scared. So hopefully the next time you see me, it will be on the other side of fear. Praying to God. But anywho, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and comment and subscribe. Leave a comment down below what was your favorite moment of Cowboy Carter. Tag me, tweet me any of your Cowboy Carter tour moments and your outfits. I would love to see it. And as always, peace in the Middle East. And hopefully I'll see you on the other side of fear. Bye-bye.